this popularity. It's Ozark Nana's CookShack on TV. She got barbecues, awesome stews, desserts all the day. Just stay tuned, now don't you go away. Here's Ozark Nana's recipe today.
What in the world is going on here?
Well, we're getting ready for Wednesday, you know. And today I'm going to make a really special recipe.
Oh.
This is Miss Billy's mother's banana bread cake recipe.
Okay.
I have the recipe in.
Yeah, there's my grandmother. Oh, I miss her.
So, we've got all the ingredients sitting on the counter here. We're ready to go. And it calls for... Now, I'm just going to do measurements for a regular, at-home recipe today.
Okay.
I'm not doing a big recipe for everybody. I'm going to make it for Miss Billy to taste and make sure we have it all put together right, and then we'll do it for the group.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, that'll make it easier for people because they don't cook for 100 most of them.
Right, exactly. So I've already done the measurements that were in this recipe that he showed you a minute ago.
Okay.
And there's 3 cups of flour, and we're going to put all the dry ingredients together in one pan. And I've got 2 cups of sugar. I believe it's a teaspoon of cinnamon and soda, baking soda.
Okay.
And just about 3/4 or a little bit over of salt. And I'm mixing all the dry ingredients together. Then I'm going to just kind of whip them in so that they all blend in. That way there's no lumps when I put moisture in it. Now, she's doing a little different catch on the banana bread deal than I've ever seen.
Okay.
She has crushed pineapple in hers.
Oh.
And I'm sure that gives it moisture, and that's what you all are liking about how it stays moist. I've heard that from several of the people.
Okay.
We're going to put 2 bananas. Now, when your bananas turn black, the family won't eat them, but that's when they're the sweetest, and you really want to keep them. If you don't have time to make something right then with them, peel them and put them in a baggie and put them in the ice box, the freezer, and keep them, because they'll stay in the freezer for quite a while.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to get them out and mash them up. I'm just taking my whip and just mashing them up.
Okay.
And they're already soft. This will
you
come
can
out of
tell.
the freezer already. I've pulled these out. So you can see it just mashed them up with a little whip. Now, I'm putting 1.25 cups of oil and 2 teaspoons of vanilla in with the bananas. And then I'll kind of mix that up a little bit, so that it's kind of together. Keeps lumps from happening in your mix when you get going.
Sure.
Then we're also gonna do a little bit of mashing up and whipping of the eggs over here. I've got 3 eggs.
Okay.
And I'm gonna also put that in with the liquid and kind of stir it all together.
So you got your dry, your liquid, and your fruit.
Right. And her recipe called for pecans, so we've got 1 cup of pecans sitting here. If you have nut allergies or don't care for pecans, you sure don't have to put them in there. This is just her recipe and how she liked it, and her family liked it. So now we're going to pour the liquid part into the flour part, the sugar and dry stuff. And we'll get our little spatula out and make sure we got all of it in there.
So if you've never baked before, you can learn a lot right here. Because a lot of this is the order that you do, a lot of baking with.
Baking with,
Yeah.
exactly. Now I'm also going to go ahead and put the pineapple in. So now we've got pineapple and banana, oil, eggs, all mixed in here together. And I'm going to use my wood spoon to get down in and get the flour all moist, and then we'll stir it a little bit. But this is so easy. And I'm assuming it to be as good as I've heard, so I can't hardly wait to get it in the oven myself.
Well, I remember it. I sure do, and it was good. It was delicious.
I'm using my glasses here. I want them to fall into the cake, so.
She was the type that would make like double the recipe so that she'd have enough for company.
Right. Yeah, I've read that in a biography or something
Yeah.
on her in the Gazette one time.
Yeah.
It told that she would always have extra, and her door was always open
Yep.
to anybody.
That's the way they were. You know, we kind of lost that as a society.
Yeah.
With
We did. We kind
Computers.
of got to the point where we were afraid to leave doors open even.
yeah.
I can remember when my grandmother would literally not lock a door, and doors would stay open at night and no air conditioning,
Yeah.
so that it would stay cool enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the pecans
Okay.
in this because we're doing her recipe the way she did it for this time. Now, while I'm stirring this, I've already prepared a pan over here to put it in.
Okay.
And we're just going to use, Pam, your spray to put on there. You could use oil, you could use Crisco, lard, whatever your choice is. But I have already prepared the pan, and then I shook a little bit of flour in there to keep it from sticking, because we want every bit of this to come out right. Okay, now you don't want to over stir it, because that also plays with your rising agents. If you do that too much. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the pan, and I've just got all the lumps out, basically.
Well, that was a big tip, guys. Don't over stir it.
Yeah, and I have done that, and it doesn't rise as much when you do that.
I guess you get the air out of it. Is what you're
Right.
doing.
Mm-hmm. Now, she made 2 loaf pans out of this recipe. I'm
Okay.
making one bigger pan,
Okay.
and we can actually cut it in half if we want to, but this will be a little easier for what we're doing right now.
And you may want to do like my grandma. You might want to make a little extra for company.
Right. It'd be real easy to double the recipe.
Yeah.
And stir that up like that. It'd be no problem.
She wouldn't make things for the mailman. Back in those days,
Yeah.
it was just a different
The
time.
milkman, anybody that did anything for her, she did something for them. Yeah. That was the way my grandmother was also. But you know, we were closer neighborhoods or housing areas,
Yeah,
or we were further and they made an effort to come.
right.
So, but nowadays, you know, you're lucky if you know the people next door,
That's the truth.
which is kind of a sad deal.
It is. I'm just glad I got to see some of that in my lifetime, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Anyway.
So now I'm going to wipe this off, so we want this to look nice when it comes out. And any little extra that you get on the outside of the pan, that's what I'm wiping.
Oh,
And
okay.
then we're going to put it in the oven. Now this recipe calls for it to cook at 350
350.
for about 50 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll stick a toothpick in and check it in the middle at about 50 minutes. And then if it's still moist when I pull the toothpick out, I'll leave it in for another 5 or 10 minutes. So you just have to kind of play with it. It depends on how hot or cold your oven cooks.
Okay, so you don't really want to overcook it.
No.
Will it cook some even if after you take it out of the oven and just
yeah.
let it sit? Okay, so that'll probably,
So that's right. You don't want it to be dry.
yeah.
And if it starts peeling away from the side of the pan, it's already
It's too late.
you've already done it too long. So you want to pull it out of there before that. But we're going to set a timer, and in about 50 minutes we're going to check it.
Okay.
Gary, you're just right in time.
All right.
I'm
good.
getting ready to turn this pan upside down and get this out so it'll cool a little bit better. Now I use 2 cooling racks, one on top and one on the bottom, to give me a little support, so when I turned it upside down I didn't dump it out.
Oh, yeah, right.
Now,
Oh, it's out of the oven.
oh, and it's coming out of the pan really good.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, and it's nice and moist. Well, we're going to let it go ahead and cool the rest of the way, and then we'll cut it. And I'll put it in slices over here on the pan. Now, let me tell you, in case you decide to do what I did and cook it in one big pan.
Okay.
You need to do a bigger pan, like a cake pan,
Okay.
so that it's not so deep.
Okay.
This is pretty deep for a cake to get done and not be burnt on the edges.
Okay.
That's why she cooked it in two, what I call bread pans.
Gotcha.
So she would cook it in those two pans, and that way it wasn't so thick, and it didn't take it so long to cook. But what we'll do is go ahead and cut it in half like a bread pan,
Okay.
and then slice it, and it'll still look like a sliced bread.
Oh man, you'll want to try this one.
A mighty big piece of cake, or bread, whatever you want to call it.
Does that look good? Amazing. Well, I guess you forced me.
Yeah, I need your opinion. You actually have had this before.
You know what? It hasn't lost its taste. Try it.
Really pretty. Put that over here since I
Man, does that bring back memories?
I'm just crazy enough to put a little butter on mine, but yeah, that's good.
Boy, you're right. You could have that for breakfast with a cup of coffee.
Well, I'm going to let the rest of it cool. But you all can see what we're talking about. It made a nice little piece of bread. You could have that for a cake or a breakfast muffin. Any kind of...
And I don't even taste the pineapple.
Not at all. I taste the banana over it. It's really good.
Need to make that one. Oh, you'll love that with coffee.
Yeah, it'd be a really good coffee cake.